Okay, imagine this scene. You're in the British Parliament, right? Proper, formal. And then someone gets up, calls himself the Jungle Rot Kid, and gives this speech. Well, unlike anything else.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. This really bizarre, fragmented text linked to him. It's like bits of a diary mashed up with this raw kind of stream of consciousness rant.
And the sources themselves are pretty unusual. We've got these excerpts called The Jungle Rot Kid on the Nod.
Yeah, apparently put together by someone named Brakeet Bruce. It's presented like randomly cut and spliced tapes. Very strange.
And then there's also this diary, supposedly by John Clayton,
Right.
written in French, no less.
Right. So our mission today really is to sift through all this unconventional stuff. Can we figure out what was going on with this Jungle Rot Kid?
You know, what themes pop up from the chaos? Is there even a story we can kind of piece together?
It's going to be a bit of a ride, I think. Lots of contradictions, really strange references, and just this raw energy.
Okay, let's jump in. Let's start with that parliamentary address. It sounds incredible.
It really is. So this Jungle Rot Kid character, he gets up and immediately starts making demands. He wants foreign aid stopped.
Right. And why? What's his reasoning?
Well, he claims the West is corrupting his, quote, simple black folks. Says they're now wealthy and into drugs.
Mm.
And there's this real sense of impending violence. He mentioned M16s, tanks, coming up the jungle trail, which he weirdly attributes to Old Mao Charlie.
Oh, okay. So threats, basically, inside Parliament. That's bold. And it seems like his critique gets broader.
Oh, absolutely. It becomes this huge attack on, well, everything. Capitalism, modern life. He accuses the lords and ladies of being invested in the mafia and General Motors.
The money habit, he calls it.
Yeah, exactly. And then he lists off everything he rejects about civilization. It's quite a list.
I remember seeing that. Smog freeways, TV, oily beaches, taxes, inflation, frozen dinners, time clocks, carcinogens, neckties.
All that shit. His words. It's like a complete rejection of the modern world.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is how he then defines himself. He calls himself a noble savage.
Okay. The classic trope, but how does he frame it?
He contrasts it with Western values, using this phrase, Tarzanic Purushana. He says it involves kissing off Dharma, Artha, and getting a fix on moksha through Kama.
Right, so he's borrowing Hindu concepts there. Dharma, Artha, moksha, Kama. Duty, wealth, liberation, desire.
Precisely. But he's twisting them, isn't he? Like reject duty and wealth, find liberation through pleasure. It's a very unique take, especially coming from a self-proclaimed Tarzan figure.
Definitely not a standard interpretation.
Yep.
And how do the lords react to all this?
Predictably, really. Total confusion. You have Lord Brawley Rimmer and Lord Materfooter just bewildered.
They think it's Swahili?
Or African cricket, apparently. Just shows this massive gulf, doesn't it? This complete inability, or maybe unwillingness to even try and understand him.
Yeah, that lack of engagement speaks volumes. Does the speech get even stranger from there? Because it feels like it's heading that way.
Oh, it does. He starts accusing Arabs of stealing Jane. Who Jane is, we don't really know, but she seems important to him.
And then there's that conspiracy theory.
Right, the intersolar communist Venusian bankers plot. I mean, where do you even start with that?
Yeah, it feels like it's spiraling, doesn't it? Mixing personal stuff like Jane with these completely out there conspiracies. Is it political commentary anymore or just madness?
That's the question, isn't it? And then he says he's going back to the jungle and needs to talk to someone called Sam Tantor, alias the Long Gone Kid,
Okay.
who is apparently writing amendments to the protocols of the Elders of Mars. In blood.
In blood. Wow. Okay, that's something else. It sounds almost like satire. It's so extreme, but you feel there's real anger there too.
Exactly. It's so over the top. But the rage feels genuine. Maybe it's just a way to express total disgust with all systems of power, earthly or otherwise. Like, the answers are in some absurd cosmic plot now.
Perhaps. And then he makes this big claim about himself, right? About freedom.
Yeah, he declares he's the only fucking free man in the world.
Yeah.
Living in anarchy up in the trees.
The big tree fix.
That's the phrase. He presents it as this universal dream of freedom, which is, you know, kind of a powerful idea, even buried in all the craziness. This desire to just escape everything.
It resonates even if the messenger is unconventional. So how does this parliamentary appearance end? Does he just walk out?
It's pretty explosive. He says he has satyagraha up the ass.
Which is a very crude take on Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolent resistance.
Extremely crude. He says it's the old original Sanskrit sense, whatever that means. Then he calls the audience fat fruits
Charming.
and announces he's off back to the dark continent. Why? Because, quote, them sheiks of the desert run off with Jane again.
So Jane's disappearance is a recurring problem, it seems.
apparently. And his final words are just ominous. Blood will flow. Then he's gone. Leaves them stunned, I imagine.
What an exit. Okay, so that's the public persona, the jungle rot kid in Parliament. But then we have these diary entries from John Clayton. That's a shift, isn't it?
A massive shift. Suddenly it's incredibly personal, internal, and quite disturbing.
Yeah, that first excerpt written in French, it's about grief, right? Someone named Alice died.
Yes, and his immediate reaction is brutally raw.
Mm.
He basically wonders, who gonna blow me now? It's shocking. Grief just tangled up immediately with this really base sexual frustration.
And there's something about a child.
He mentions a screaming child who doesn't look like the heir you'd expect for a noble British family. Hints of secrets, maybe illegitimacy. It's a very different kind of turmoil compared to the parliamentary rant.
It feels much more human in a very broken way. And that last diary bit.
Just a desperate plea. Carrying me back to old Norfolk. That longing for home, it's so poignant compared to the jungle rot kid's bravado. Makes you wonder, is this the real person underneath? Is the kid persona just a shield?
Could be. Which brings us to that really intense final piece, the encounter with the gorilla thing.
Yeah, this part is visceral, almost nightmarish. Clayton's in his cabin. This creature tries to get in.
He fights back with an axe.
He tries, but he's overpowered. And the description of his death, it's horrifying.
It's incredibly violent and also disturbingly sexualized, isn't it?
Yes, he talks about being, well, penetrated by the gorilla. But even as this is happening, he's trying to hold on to the idea that his inviolate white soul is untouched.
That juxtaposition is jarring. Extreme physical violation versus this desperate clinging to self, status, racial identity.
Maybe all of the above, because his very last thoughts are about his title, his property, his family retainer, his opera box.
Wow, even then.
Even then. And concern for the baby and the family name is just this grotesque, tragic end, highlighting the very things, the civilized trappings he valued, even as he's being destroyed by something utterly wild.
So let's try to pull these threads together. We have the Jungle Rot Kid's performance, and then John Clayton's private despair and horrific end. Are they the same person?
That's the big question, isn't it? Is the Jungle Rot Kid persona a result of Clayton's breakdown? A descent into madness fueled by grief, frustration, maybe colonial guilt or trauma?
Or is the whole thing some kind of savage satire, pushing colonial tropes and critiques of civilization to an absolutely absurd extreme?
The contradictions are definitely key. The public ranting versus the private agony. The conspiracy theories mixed with real raw pain. The shifts in tone are so abrupt.
You've got this figure demanding political change, spouting wild theories about Venusian bankers.
And then you see the diary entries. The grief over Alice, the worry about the baby, the longing for Norfolk. It makes you wonder about the relationship between that public mask and the private reality. Could the kid be a kind of defense mechanism?
Possibly. A way to lash out when the internal world is collapsing. It certainly makes you think about, the different faces people present to the world.
Absolutely. And maybe the whole fragmented, chaotic nature of the text is the point. Perhaps it's meant to reflect a mind coming apart under pressure.
Or maybe it's a deliberate choice, trying to use that chaos to critique the world, lampooning everything by just throwing absurdity at it.
It could be. And what about that big tree fix? That idea of ultimate freedom and anarchy he talks about?
Yeah, it sounds appealing in a way, doesn't it? Escaping all the smog freeways TV. But look where Clayton ends up. Does the reality of the wild just shatter that dream?
That's a powerful thought. Maybe the fantasy of complete escape, that big tree fix, is ultimately an illusion. Maybe it can't hold up against personal tragedy or the harsh realities that exist outside of society's structures too.
So what are we left with? These fragmented, disturbing writings, maybe they offer a kind of raw glimpse into anxieties we still grapple with, about identity, power, civilization versus the wild.
I think so. It's unsettling, it's confusing, but it forces you to confront these uncomfortable ideas. And maybe, just maybe, it makes you think about our own big tree fix.